Yo, what up? This is Lee Smith. We're back. Mission Statement, episode 13. I got my man Scott Johnston in the house. So good to see you. Such a fucking special guest. How you doing, brother?
I'm great.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, it's hyped to be here.
I've known you for like a long ass time.
Yeah.
Like how long do you think? I don't know, like maybe 20, probably 20 years, right?
Man, 93.
Yeah. It's funny though with skaters because it's like you know somebody for so long, but like you never really have like in-depth conversations like, so where are you from? Or like, what's your...
No, yeah. I realized that I have kids now and what they do, they're just parallel playing. They just play alongside each other, you know, at a certain age. And then eventually they start to look at each other and they start to connect.
And they're like, hey, after a while, you're like, so tell me about yourself.
Yeah, and I think, what was that, like in the 30s or something, you probably just start to look at each other and like, so... Where do you live? Like, what do you? Yeah, exactly.
What's your deal?
Yeah.
So like you grew up in Maryland, right?
Yep.
How far, like outside of D.C. or?
Yeah, in between Baltimore and D.C., probably 30, 40 minutes in each direction. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was that?
It was
pretty like suburban or like?
Yeah, it was super suburban. Lived in like an apartment complex, like just off like the main road, mm-hmm. but in a super like conservative, like just suburban neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I remember just going to DC, or going to Baltimore first with my mom, skating there, and then eventually once I started driving, started to go the other direction and go to mm-hmm. DC.
That's funny because those are like two of probably like the sketchiest like cities in America, especially in like the 90s and shit.
I mean, even now, like if I think about Baltimore now, but I think my mom would like, she'd pull into Baltimore and it would be like me and Marty and Matt, we were probably like 14. She'd pull into the edge of the city and it was like, city, we're like, we're good, we'll get out here. We'll get out here and then we'll meet you at your work. And it was probably, I mean, it must have been like 7 miles. It was probably like the edge of the city and then all the way into the harbor, and we would like start at the welfare banks. There was like this tranny, we would skate that for a while, and we would just navigate through, and I would just like, we were so lucky that we like survived what we did.
But like just so oblivious, but just having so much fun. Huh?
Dude, yeah, for sure.
That's cool. How did you even start skating?
I think when I started skating, I was like into biking at the time. It was BMX, mm-hmm. you know, that's your rite of passage, your bike. Yeah. You know, how you get to neighborhoods and you kind of get out. Mm-hmm. And everyone was getting, it was like right at the beginning of Bones Brigade. I forget what's wrong, maybe Future Primitive, and everyone was getting PAL boards. Mm-hmm. And I was like, maybe I'll get one for my birthday and see what's up with this. So I got like a Tony Hawk and skated with the neighborhood kids that mm-hmm. were not really into it, mm-hmm. and I think they quickly faded like after one board, and then I found myself going board after board, and then found you know the real skaters, mm-hmm. people that really skate.
I feel like that's been a similar, I've heard kind of like with the people that I've interviewed, that's been a thing. Like they started as kids, and then they had a small crew, and then like slowly everybody faded away, and then they kind of like that person continued on their own and then went and found like other people that kind of like did the same thing. You know, because for some people it's like a children's toy, and then for other people it's like a passion, you know. It's like, you know, it's different. It's a different experience for everybody. So, yeah. It's funny, you know.
For sure, yeah. You start to find like it becomes not a toy, but mm-hmm. like the vehicle or whatever to find like like-minded people or mm-hmm. like whatever, exactly. Common thread, yeah.
So what was did you have like a local neighborhood spot or like area spot?
Man, I mean, now it's funny when I live like, it was like the suburbs, like shopping, like seriously like a Safeway and like a couple things like right there. So not a lot of spots there, so I would probably work with whatever I had at the time, mm-hmm. and then just wait for the weekends to like really like venture out. Yeah.
When did you start going down to Pulaski?
I think I might have been 15, 16. Would catch, either I would drive or like Daryl Vaughn. he would drive down, or again, Marty and Matt Willigan. That was like,
Marty.
You know Matt Willigan.
I know Matt Willigan.
Yeah, Marty was his older brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Marty Willigan.
Yeah,
I don't think
Marty.
I ever met him.
Yeah, Marty didn't want Matt to come, but I always was like, nah, bring your little brother. He's cool, But yeah, we went down together, and we would drive down and park somewhere, and I think we would skate around and end up at Pulaski for a little bit, and then keep going around. Like, we just went spot to spot. We didn't really focus on Pulaski for, I felt like a year or so, and then eventually we just found ourselves staying at Pulaski.
Were they cool with you guys, like the DC crew, you guys being like, I don't know how the demographics there were, like if you're the Maryland guys, like, you know how it is in New York, it's like the Jersey guys with the city guys. Was that a thing, or was it, or what?
No, there was some dudes from DC, but mostly it was like, it was either dudes from Virginia or like dudes from Maryland coming in and all finding the center there at Pulaski. So I don't think there was ever that. Yeah.
Which skaters are actually like from DC?
From DC?
Like DC proper.
Probably only Randy Corey and Carlos Kenner were probably the only. Oh, and Brian Tucci. I think that's it, really. Pep was from Virginia. He was like close, like right across the river.
Yeah, super close.
But yeah, otherwise it was just those three, I think.
Huh. It's crazy. You know what the kids call it nowadays? They call it the DMV.
Really? Pulaski?
DC, Maryland, Virginia. It's like the whole encompassing.
Yeah.
I think it's like a hood terminology, but.
Trying to brand. They're marketing guys. Branding something. Yeah.
When the DC crew came to, like, when Carlos and Andy Stone and all those dudes came to SF, I always felt like they were like a little more rugged than the New York guys. Like, they were more like the New York guys were fresh, you know what I mean? They were like fresh, clean, crisp, like gear was, but the DC guys were a little more like rough around the edges, and like, I don't know, that's the way I felt back in the days. It was like, when they came to SF, they kind of like were down to like stay out real late and drink 40s and like get in fights and like all that stuff. I don't know, it always seemed like they were a little more like rugged. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably Gordy would probably be the
exactly, Jim Gordy.
To be the roughest and most rugged for sure. And I think they just probably had so much respect for SF and like the leaders, and they just wanted to like really step it up, and
just like
show that they could hang, and they all surpassed everyone. Maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
And with like, even with Pep, I feel like he's such an amazing skater, and it kind of seems like he does, like, I don't know, I don't want it to sound weird, but like, seems like sometimes maybe he doesn't get the respect that he deserves, or like, he just doesn't get talked about a lot, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what avenues he would be, showcased or whatever would kind of talk about him, but it seems like, it's not like Pep doesn't get as much shine as he should.
God, yeah, you're right.
But
it's a shame, because he is like, he's quite special on the board, and definitely a legend. And I don't know, I mean, maybe, I can't pinpoint like why not, because people should be thinking. I mean, I know everyone in DC does think about him every time like his birthday passes, or the anniversary of his passing comes up. But I don't know. It's quite odd.
Do you remember like the first time you saw him down at Pulaski?
Not necessarily the first time, but he was. He was like I don't know, he might have been the Carroll and the Henry of DC, like all boiled into one, like you're just like, holy shit, there's Pep,
Dude, that's a very descriptive, if you know Henry and you know Carroll, Mike, like that's a very accurate, like, description of who Pep was, kind of. It was like both of those guys kind of rolled into one. I mean, he was his own
person.
His own
but,
person,
you know,
but yeah, for sure. He was definitely kind of like, yeah, the two of them mixed together. It's true. Yeah. I could see what you mean.
You know what I mean? I don't
know.
Yeah. Yeah, he was rough and rugged, but still like, and that was like Henry, like rough and rugged and pressing it, and then Carroll like kind of finessing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I mean, that's very well said. It's true. So like, at some point in time, what made you move to SF? You were like...
Well, I mean, honestly, it comes down to, I lived in the suburbs, and I was finding myself always going to cities, and specifically D.C., and then I was like, all right, when I'm old enough to like be out on my own, I don't want to drive anymore. I want to like live in a city, and I was like, I want to go to like the best city in the world. At the time, I was like, the best city for skateboarding is SF, because like we were just talking about, like the scene in SF was where everything was done right, you know, and I wanted to be near that. You know, at DC, I was in, you know, again, in the right place at the right time, being around like Chris Hall and Pep and Andy and Evan and I mean, all those dudes. And I was just like, I want to see what's next. Yeah.
Were your parents tripping? Like, what did they say? You were just like, did they want you to go to like college or something? Or were they like...
No, I don't know. My mom, I don't think my mom went to college, so she probably wasn't pressing, you know, that on me. And, whatever.
They were supportive of...
They were essentially supportive. I think my mom, God, I don't know. She didn't overthink it. I mean, I feel like now today I would overthink it as a parent. I would be like scared shitless, but she's like, yeah. Like, and I just, whatever. I went to SF. I think I saved up like $500 or $600 and like put it in the... Back then, like, didn't have an ATM card. I think I like took everything out of the bank, and, like put it in my shoe, and like flew to SF, like in the insole of my shoe. Yeah, it was pretty funny. I always think about that. I'm like,
did you think you were gonna get like robbed or something?
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get robbed. It was like 5 or 6 crispy $100 bills, like folded up all tight and like put in my shoe, and then I like got there and like immediately went to a bank and like unfolded it and like put it in the bank.
You're like,
yeah.
Opening a new account.
Open a new SF account. Well, the B of A. Yeah.
When you first got there, it's great. You were working like as a security guard, right?
Yeah. Holy shit. So random, right?
But like, I'm curious. Is there any kind of like special training for like, say an altercation went down?
I'm gonna cry.
Like if something were to pop off, like were you trained to know how to like?
No, dude. No, dude. I mean, I think I was like 18 at the time. I was probably like 135 pounds, so scrawny and young looking.
Did you have like mace or what did you have? Like a baton?
Dude, I just had the shirt. I had a badge.
Imagine if something happened. So I mean, not that you're not capable. You're obviously capable of defending yourself.
No, I don't think so. Not at that time. Hopeless. Yeah.
You'd just be like, "Hey, please stop."
They'd like kick me in the head and keep going. No walkie-talkie, no nothing. Yeah.
How long did you do that for?
It seemed like an eternity, but it was probably like 3 months, 3 or 4 months, yeah.
Oh my, 3 months when you're like in your early 20s is like fucking forever, dude.
Yeah. Dude, I think I was like 18 and I was, somehow I like was going through job and I was like, oh, 18 to 65. So I was like, I'm 18 or 19, whatever. And it was like $8 to $10 an hour. I was like, whoa, $8 an hour, like that's good, you know? So yeah, I applied and I think you do like a personality test, you know,
to make sure you're like not crazy or something.
Yeah, and like, yeah. So I guess I have that. Yeah.
But I mean, it worked. It got you to where you needed to go. Like it was like, you know, what you needed to do at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I worked 3 days a week, just enough to get by, and then yeah, it was just skating. But honestly, I was like, and then I turned pro for Think, and I was like making a little money, and I was like, I'm gonna keep working though. I'm gonna like Operation Stack. I was gonna be like a pro skater and a security guard at the same time.
But I find that amazing because most people would be, as soon as they even caught wind of like the possibility of turning pro, they would quit their job like immediately.
No, I got laid off, dude. So I was like, fine. So then I didn't go back. But yeah, I had the intention to like kind of try to work and save as much as I could.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous.
It's funny too, because I know you're kind of like like everything. You're very well thought out, and like you're kind of calculated person. So even for me, to see you taking those kind of risks, it's like I find it hilarious, but it obviously paid off. So.
Yeah. We got a good story today. Yeah.
So then you got hooked up by Think. Oh my God, I'm actually like crying over
here. Yeah, me too. Hold on, take a sip.
So then you got hooked up by Think, and who hooked you up? Greg? That was Greg?
Mm-hmm. I was actually, I think my first, I had some random sponsors, but like first real sponsor was Venture when I was in D.C. Mm-hmm. And then, I wanted to get on Think. I was like looking at, like what's the right fit, what's like a cool thing to get on. And again, it was SF, and I was like, oh, this is dope. And I like those little quarter page ads, and I was like, oh, like Nick Lockman, Carl Watson, like these dudes are dope. And I knew like the connection, like just how Greg Carroll and like just the whole connection to it. I was like, oh, it's dope. So that was like also a tie to SF, and that's also why I kind of went there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, went out there, and I was already skating for Think.
Yeah, you were kind of like hooked up already. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember when you came to EMB. We were like teammates for teammates. Yeah, Greg was giving me boards for a second, and then I remember being like super young, and I was like, "You ride for Think?" I was like, "I ride for Think too."
And you're like, and you just skate off. You like say like one thing to me, like I think I was like 18, and you were probably like, I don't know, 9 or something, and you came up and made me nervous. It's like, geez, who's this little guy? Yeah.
Little shit talker.
Yeah.
I had James Kelch had my back, so I felt pretty invincible.
Yeah, sure.
So what was like, do you remember your first day showing up to EMB, or? Or like?
I definitely remember like those first like couple of times for sure. Because you're in DC and you're so far away, and that was before like the internet, and you had like, you just build up all these like stories in your head. You don't have Instagram to like tell you the stories. You like, you hear something like Sheffey would come back from DC. He's like, oh, these dudes are like this, they do this. And you start to like build the story off of just those little bits. So it was like a magical place. So you get there and you're just like, holy fuck, this is it. And you just, you definitely like nervous to like, whatever, and you're just in the presence of something big.
Mm-hmm. Having that, like, those thoughts in your mind, was it more or less what you expected? Like, or was it completely different? Like,
no, it was exactly what I thought, because I think I got there at the right time where the energy was still like super strong, and it was like everyone was showing up at these like I don't know, the optimal time to like show up, where you're just like, instead of like showing up at 11 o'clock like a nerd and skating, like these dudes show up at like 4 or 5 and then just start fucking killing you. Like, damn, man, these dudes are fucking so cool, so good. Like everything was kind of what you expected. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I remember just getting there and just trying to like, I was just so excited to also skate this spot that you see from afar. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where I focused, was just skating. And then I think I was lucky that, because I know like there was a lot of the crazy people getting kicked out, drama, like just people just getting told to leave. But I think I was like, just go, and like knowing that, or maybe even seeing that. But I think I had kind of already an in through Greg, I think, and then just, some immediate relationships.
Who were like some of the first people that you met?
Greg Hunt, Lee, I mean, not Lee, you're sitting in front of me. Greg Hunt, Mike York, and Shamil. Shamil was like one of this, like, like this pinnacle dude. I remember like getting there and needing shoes right away. And he's like, oh, we'll go to FTC, and like hopped on the bus and like took me to FTC. I'd never been there.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's so nice, like, you know. But
he didn't want anything.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
There had to have been something in it for him.
Put something on the books under my name. He's like, you know what? He's gonna get the credit, and yeah, no, I don't know. No, it was. I think I was just, you know, very respectful.
He was like, I'm going there, so roll with me.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah. That's cool. But I think those are the three people that really stand out from the start.
I know you're gonna disagree with me about this, but you know that you're an EMB guy, right?
I think I slid in like at the end there, maybe.
Like you're in the crew.
All right.
You know that, right?
I'm not gonna say it. I'll let you say it. Yeah.
I mean, you were there and you hung out with us every day. You're an EMB guy. Like, you didn't hang out at night, but that's okay.
Yeah. Respectfully.
That's where you are, where you're at right now.
Yeah, I think so. You're right.
Me and Greg Hunt were talking on Instagram. I was like, you were one of the responsible skaters. And he's like, he started laughing. I was like, yeah, it was like you, Huff, Ben Sanchez, Scott Johnston.
Yeah.
The funny thing about Think is that it was like a board company that was like based off of rave culture.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I got to SF. Yeah, I definitely did not know that.
Greg was super into it.
Yeah.
Did you ever, like back in the days, you never hit like any one, not like you never came with us out one night to one of those raves?
No. I remember showing up to EMB the next, like on a Sunday at like 4 p.m. and like seeing everyone there after a rave. Like, and I was like, holy shit, dude, these dudes are gnarly, dude. They're just like, I could tell
everybody used to sleep on the wave.
Yeah, like, no, it was like the C block, and it was like this mountain of like EMB legends, and like kind of all equally fried or something, just kind of all like, I don't know, staying together. You know, like, don't want to go home yet. Yeah.
When you were pro for Think, like, how much does a pro skater in the 90s for Think like make?
God, I think it was like $500, and then like $100 for venture or something, you know, and you're like $600. My rent is like $250. My rent was like pretty cheap. So I was like, all right, cool. And then you find yourself like $100 more, $100, like these little like increments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like real, like minimal. Yeah.
But at the same time, you really didn't need much either. It's just like
No.
Your life is pretty basic. It's like wake up, go skate, eat at Carl's Jr.
God, yeah. Yeah. God. Yeah, you go in the grocery store and just buying like spaghetti and a sauce and like bananas and like some Cokes or something. And like eating the same thing like day in and day out, like spaghetti with just sauce.
But with like, with no word, like you didn't even think about it. You were just like, it was just like nourishment.
You're just enough to just keep you skating.
Just to keep skating, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I read something like you said, like you got to SF and you kind of more focused on like skating fast and like doing tricks well and like being stylish, you know? Not, well, maybe you didn't say stylish. I think mostly you said like you were kind of like, you knew that skating fast looked good, so you kind of like put a lot of effort into skating fast and doing things well.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I think of that as like kind of like a Reese Forbes or like a Huff, you also. And like, to be honest, I like back in the days, I didn't appreciate that kind of skating. Well, I was like, Henry and Carroll and those dudes were like, they were the ones, they would try hard tricks for a long time, like, and they would get that trick. And that's to me what I thought was like, you know, amazing skating. It just took me a while to appreciate that kind of skating.
Yeah, coming from DC and Sheffey being like the most pinnacle dude out of DC, he would skate fast, and like Randy Corey and like everyone would try to like skate fast to like, I don't know, you know, like you were saying, like you thought about how Carol and Henry skated. They were like kind of the leaders of B&B, and everyone kind of like modeled after them. And
exactly.
Sheffey was like definitely the model to like all of DC. But then when I would try to skate faster and I would try to skate fast. But then I remember filming and always thinking, when it's time to film, like no matter what the trick is, try to do it going a little faster than like maybe just normal skating. Be like, the camera's coming out. Like I'm gonna have to really push into this thing to like make it like better, you know?
Because it looks better that way. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, in the end, it ends. You know, you get through the trick faster. It's funny, you know what, later on I realized it's like a personality trait of mine. I'm super impatient, nervous, and I'm like, I just want to fucking get through this thing as fast as fucking possible. I don't want to fucking sit here all day. Yeah. So yeah, it's just personality, yeah.
No, that's great. I see these GX 1000 guys, and I look at the way that they're skating San Francisco now, and I kind of like we grew up there, more or less. You grew up there, and like you spent so many years there, and I'm like, you know, they're really taking advantage of the city and skating it the way that maybe it should have been skated. But for me, like, as when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, you go down a hill on your way to Embarcadero. Yeah. You know, like I'm not gonna skate on the hill. Like I don't really care about that. But I do see the way that when I see them skating, I feel like it's amazing, and I really like it. And at the same time, I see when like I watch a Mad Circle video, I feel like you guys kind of like explored the city a little bit and kind of like hit a lot of like, you know, downhill spots, or like hit the avenues, and kind of like went outside of just like skating at Embarcadero every day.
Yeah, I mean, I think I started to learn like the spot is sometimes is equally as important as the trick. So I started to look for a spot. I mean, even if it's just like a kickflip, and like find like a cool place to do a kickflip versus, you know, what kickflip are you gonna do at Embarcadero versus like it's only gonna be across the Gons. You know, like I'm not doing that. So I find this cool, interesting spot in SF in the hills or the avenues. But yeah, the way those dudes skate, like when I talk about skating fast, I wanna push into it and like make myself. Dude, the way they did, they just have the city like gravity and like force take them, which that's so scary. That's fucking psycho.
It's crazy.
It's crazy what they do, man.
You've been to Sam's house, right?
Yeah.
Like that hill, Sam Smythe's house.
Like,
De La Torre skating that ledge down that hill. The thing is like fucking. I can't even imagine like bombing that hill.
Dude, you start here and like get on there, like with no push. Yeah, it's fucking psycho.
Were you guys like you were with Mesa a lot back in the days, like driving around? He had that big. What did he have? Like a big brown.
What did he have first? I don't know, he had the Bronco. He had like a white Volvo. Yeah, I don't know which one came first. Yeah.
Mesa. And then like filming for the FTC. The funny thing about the FTC videos is like, essentially all that footage was kind of like leftover footage from from what they weren't using for whatever sponsors they had, right?
Yeah.
And that I think the funny thing about why that worked out so well is because the FTC videos kind of showcased collectively everything that was happening in San Francisco as a group, you know? It painted a picture of what was happening in San Francisco that hadn't been painted before, you know?
Yeah.
I think people really kind of like gravitated towards that.
Yeah, I think Mesa pulled all the different people together, which is...
Exactly. And like not even, you know, you had the dudes that weren't even like sponsored, but they still had tricks in there, and so that's...
Yeah, and then the tie, even just to, like to LA guys, you know, like having Costin and everyone in it is like, no, but these are our brothers that are down south, but like they're still part of the crew kind of thing,
So then you got on Mad Circle, and how was that? Like, what was your daily life routine around those days? Like,
God, now you're gonna make me, want to go back to those days, like the good old days. They're so simple. God, man, I don't even know. Like, I definitely didn't drink coffee. Probably barely went out to eat. Like, I'd probably wake up, like have cereal or whatever, the house, and probably just by that point, I think I was living like in Tenderloin. I'd probably just go up to the top of the hill and just kind of bomb down the hill, go to Union Square, like not stopping, go back down, cut through Black Rock, like take a line through Black Rock, go down California Street, and just like and then like boom, end up at Embarcadero, and it would be
you don't even have to call anybody.
No, you just go there, you know, and probably just skate there, and then I would just go home. I would go home early. I'd go home early to my girlfriend and probably like go eat dinner out, and dinner out like was like probably like $5.99 like dinner plates, like something fancy, like with like $1 tip.
But then you got on, at some point in time, you got on DC, and then your life kind of like upgraded a little bit.
No, I always had the fear like this was either not gonna last or too good to be true, so I always saved money.
Oh, that's
you
good.
know, so I like, I kept it pretty simple. I think I definitely started to. I think once I had like really some good money saved up, I started to be like, oh, I'm gonna buy some shoes, you know. So I think I started to buy sneakers probably at that time.
That's good though, man. That's really smart. Like, you had the wherewithal to like.
I still kill myself to this day because I remember I had like a good chunk of money saved, and then I remember seeing like a building like right off of like. Is it Van Ness? What's one over from Van Ness? Geary. No, not...
Like running parallel to Van Ness?
Yeah, Goff or something.
Goff or something.
Yeah, it was like Goff, and it was like condos starting at $95,000, and I was like, wow, if I only had like this much more, I could get that. No idea about like financing. Like,
I could just put this down.
Yeah, if I had like nothing down, that would have been a deal. Like, you know, and I probably, I don't know.
Right now you'd be like
sitting on something good.
Sitting on fucking a lot.
Yeah, but simple times. Yeah.
Even with Mad Circle, it was like, it was kind of random. Like I read that you never even met Twist, right?
Never met
Like
him.
I never met him either. I don't even know what he looks like.
I don't know what he looks like either.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like this SF legend icon.
Yeah.
That did like a lot of graphics and was a huge part of skateboarding, but like I couldn't. If he walked in right now, I wouldn't know who he is.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. Is Banksy in the room with us right now? I don't know. Yeah. He's mysterious. I don't know.
DC was your first shoe sponsor. How did that go down?
At that time, like, I feel like, you know, you would get shoes, people would like, you get packages. Like, I think I remember getting stuff from Vans. Like, I was getting stuff from Vans for a while, but I don't think anyone was putting together like real teams and really sponsoring. I think people were just getting free shoes, you know, like maybe some people were getting paid, but not many, you know. It was like, yeah, we'll give you shoes. Vans would give shoes. I remember, and then Duff's was like sending me shoes, and they were like, "We're gonna pay you like $250 or something," and I was kind of like, you know, like I don't really like these shoes, but you know.
Was that Casey K times?
No, it was before that. You know, Casey K's would have been sick.
Yeah,
No, it was
Casey
like
K's
way
was
before that. It was like the bunnies like
I
running.
remember that they first came out and they were like not that hot.
No, it's just like this like gum sole and this suede like doughy upper kind of thing. But yeah, DC, I think, how did that start? I'm trying to think. I don't know, man. I remember it was like a long like courting process, you know, where like they were like, we're gonna build a team, you know, we're gonna do it differently. We want to build like a team, like how a board company would build like a team, you know. So I think they started just flowing stuff, but it was like a lot of stuff. Like they would send so much shoes. It was like a whole different experience from like anyone else was, you know, dealing with product. And I think they had that vision to like, it's one thing to just have shoes on, but have like dope looking shoes on that are like crisp, that are aspiring shoes. They saw that, you know, and they were trying to make that like something in skateboarding. So, it was like...
You skated for Drawers also, right?
Drawers came after DC, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got on DC. I think it was like, first it was just like Danny, Colin, and then Rudy and Deerdick. Even before, not Rick and Mike weren't even on yet. And then they were like, we want to get some guys that like I don't know, like we're pros, but we're like the AM team to like those guys, because like these guys are all getting shoes. They wanted to build like their next tier of dudes, and it was, I think at that time it ended up being like Kane and me and Huff and Carl Shipman, I think. I might be missing somebody, but it was like the next squad. You know,
well, Rick and Mike were on too, right? At some point.
I think they got on a little after, because Mike was like Vans.
Mike was still on. The Vans.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember like where Rick kind of came in. But Rick kind of came in and was like boom shoe, you know, like yeah, surpassed us all.
Those tours looked gnarly. Like there was the D.C. Super Tour. It looked like fun, but you could tell that you really had to be like on your A game, like skate wise. Like there was it was very professionally structured. That's the way I always felt like it. Like when I looked at it, it was like
it was funny that it was like blanketed by Big Brother, which is the least like they're the most creative but least professional, but they were the one telling the story. But like all the skating within was like, it was very professional and taken super seriously. Just with like, I mean, you show up wearing jerseys in like this huge bus, it like puts a lot of pressure on right away. And then, you know what happened though with those demos, which was like by fluke. I think like the first demo we did, we got there early, and they were like, the kids don't come in for like another hour, and we were inside, and we were like, fuck, you're like skating around like normally, you know, you show up at a demo, and you're just like the kids are already there, and you kind of like walk up and try to like fumble your way into we got there, and there was no one there, and the doors are all shut, and we were like just like kind of slowly doing the warm-up thing and like skating, and then like we're all ollieing the tier, you know, like, and then when the doors open, it was just like kickflip, nollie flip, boom, boom,
because you guys had already been
everyone was like hot, dude. They were all warmed up, and it was like 45 minutes, and then we're like, we're out. Like it was like like fireworks, and we were out. Like it was, it must have been incredible for a kid. I mean, it was incredible for us, because you're just like, well, the nail shit, that was nail stuff. Like it was really cool, and it seemed like that kept happening. Like each city, we kept having these moments where we got the chance to skate the park either the night before, and again, like instead of going partying, I mean, they partied a lot, dudes, but like we would find ourselves like skating the skate park the night before, and like, I mean, it was just a lot of fun just to skate these spots. But people,
was that like did somebody set it up that way, or was that intentional that you get there earlier? And like, I mean, thinking about it, it makes perfect fucking sense. It's like,
I know,
let these guys get in here 45 minutes, they start cruising around. At that point, you get into your zone, you don't even realize that people are like coming in to watch you.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what they have in that first one? No, we like all warmed up, and then we left, and then the kids came in, and then we showed up like as if we're like, we just got here, and then fucking started firing off tricks. But we were like literally were just like we were skating. But then I think everyone just kind of took it real seriously, and also I think everyone at that time in their careers, they loved to skate. So the night before the demo, they were like, let's go skate the park, let's check it out, and it just was benefiting us like big time.
I mean, and also you had to have a certain kind of like work aesthetic, and to be even kind of considered to be on that team anyway in the first place. I mean, you guys all took skating very seriously and like took it very professionally. So like that's the reason you were there in the first place. So that's kind of like, you know, why it worked out.
yeah, there was a sense of momentum. You know how it is. Like you're in a session, the session's going off, when everyone's like taking it real seriously and everyone's doing that, it goes to the next level.
At some point in time, you left SF and you moved to New York. Yep. Like, what prompted that move?
Well, you know what? My time in SF, I was making a lot of friends with like Huff, Chris Keefe, and then all the New Yorkers were coming to SF, like Ryan Hickey, Mike Hernandez. All these dudes would come, and I would find that was like where I would start to skate around the city a lot more, and those dudes would come and skate with them. And then at the same time, I had like my first girlfriend, longtime girlfriend. We broke up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like sever the ties, and I'm interested in what's up in New York. I like this energy, and it's like the most magical city in the world. I was like, I want to go see what that's about, and so I like sold all my furniture and just like severed all my ties to like all these things were holding me back, and just rented like a simple apartment, or not an apartment, a room in an apartment with like some people I've never met.
Not skaters.
No, it was it was Catherine Lyons. She did Rookie at the time.
Okay.
And then it was like a few other just random people that were her roommates.
You were still on Mad Circle.
Still on Mad Circle. Yeah. Yeah.
Because in like, what was the last video? Let the Horns Blow?
5 flavors.
5 flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of New York footage in that. Or
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
a
you
good
know what
amount of
happened?
New York footage.
Yeah, I would come here, or come to New York just for like a film trip, you know, and I was starting to gravitate towards New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who were you skating with out here?
And then Keith had moved back to New York, and so did Chris. And then they were also like, yeah, come check out New York. So I would pretty much skate with Huff and Chris, and then you know the rest of the crew.
Was Dill around in those days? 'Cause he lived out here for a long time, right?
Yeah. I think so. I don't remember it being like a big like moment. You know, he might have come after that, like, because I was only here for like maybe 8 months, and then I moved, you know, back to Cali. But
damn, 8 months is like nothing.
8 months is nothing. I technically didn't live here. That does not count.
And then so you moved to LA and you got on Chocolate. How was that process?
I moved. I don't know what happened first, but yeah, I moved to LA because Dimitri, like, I made friends with him, and he's just like, you know, New Yorker. He's like, what are you doing in New York? You know, the weather sucks. Like, if you're gonna try to skate, you should come hang out with me in LA. So I went to LA and started staying with him, and then we got a place, and we got our place. Like, his place was like pretty close to where like Chico and Carol and Tony lived, and then Mesa was coming down, and Mesa was right there. And you know, in the past, I'd filmed with Mesa a ton.
Yeah.
I found myself like skating with those dudes every day. And then when Mad Circle went out of business, it was like the one company that I was like, you know, like I want to skate for Chocolate. So just spent like just whatever, put my energy into making that happen.
I feel like Chico would probably be the hardest person to get the yes from when you're trying to get on Chocolate.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's funny. It's probably like the closest person to me, and I'm assuming it's Gabriel or like or Gino or Keenan.
I'm just gonna everything.
It's probably Cheeks.
Everything that I've heard.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cheeks, we love you, but he's a tough. You know, you got to earn his thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
So how long was that process like to get on?
You know what? I think it was like 2 or 3 months. Felt like a long time, but you know, I would like go on like some little like Arizona trips with those guys. I guess they were feeling me out as what was going on.
Tryouts.
Yeah.
Were you like kind of tripping, or how did you feel? Like, did you feel anxious about it, or did you like?
No. I mean, I was skating for DC at the time, and I still felt like cool. And then I remember Keith was like, "Yo, if you want to skate for real, just give me the word." You know. So he was telling me that, and then Felix hit me up about rhythm, and even Sal was like, "Yo, if you want to skate for aesthetics, like, you know, whatever, we'd be super stoked to have you." So I had like
all these backup plans.
I don't know if they're backup plans, but I had like rad people, you know, like that making me feel at least somewhat confident.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty set on Chocolate.
Yeah. Like you lived on what we used to call the campus.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta like describe that a little bit for me, just like how that was, like that whole situation. It was like that whole zone was like.
Yeah, it's funny how big LA is, and then you get there, and I remember like his fucking costume was already like above campus. He didn't live on campus. He already was like out of campus, but he was close. And then it was like me and Dimitri got a spot like just down the way, and then the next street over, just seriously 1 block over, Huff moved in with like his girlfriend at the time. And then 2 more blocks down, or 3, was like Mesa got his little studio. And then across the street was Carol, Chico, and Tony, and then Tremaine and Cliver were like still like they were there. Sal was like over here with Luciano, so it was like super close. So
and then you had all the derelicts like me that would sleep on people's couches. So
yeah.
So you not only did you have the people that like live there permanently,
about that, yeah.
but like then you had all the people that would just come and stay with them, like a constant influx of like visitors as well.
Dude, Bird would come up from San Diego like every Friday. I don't think he even asked. He would like just drive up and be like, ding dong, like I'm here for the weekend. Like pretty much every weekend at our place for a while. And yeah, it was rad. Yeah.
How long did you live with Dimitri?
I think it was like 4 years, probably 4 years.
It's funny because you guys are like the odd couple.
I know. Someone was talking about that the other day.
You guys used to bicker like crazy.
Yeah. I forget. Someone was like, Dimitri was like, yes, no, Scott's the dirty one. And then when Scott moved out, I was like, nah, Dimitri's the dirty one.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that Dimitri would be the dirty one in that situation.
Yeah. No, he swore I was, no. He was just funny about like keeping like one coffee mug clean or something, but yeah, no. Yeah, I think he definitely brought me out of my shell though at the same time. It was good living with him.
Lighten up a little bit, or not that you were like, no, but just to like
the
relax
contrast.
a little bit.
Yeah, the contrast was good.
Yeah, I remember because we were all going out every night, and like you were coming out with us too. Like we were all like partying hard. Like we were doing like Dublins on like Sunday.
We're so hyped, yeah.
Fucking AD on Tuesdays. Fucking Firehouse on Wednesday.
Yeah. We put so much energy into it. Yeah.
So much fucking energy. It was. I remember the whole routine. It was like wake up, everybody goes to breakfast together. We all go skate. We all come home, take showers.
Yeah.
Everybody goes back to dinner. Like 5 carloads of people. Then we maybe take another shower.
Stand in front of the mirror, figure out what outfit you're gonna wear.
And then go out and like stand in front of one of those shitty clubs trying to get in for like fucking 45 minutes and then finally like making it in.
Some days we make it in, yeah. God, yeah.
I remember my girlfriend at the time, like we were trying to get in AD and she came down from San Francisco and we were like standing there for 45 minutes. I was like, babe, we're gonna get in, don't worry. And she's like, why are we doing this? Like, why don't we just go down the street and like get a drink somewhere else? And I was like,
what are you talking about?
Like that thought at that point in time was like, no, this is the spot. Like we're going in here. I don't care how long it takes.
Yeah, I know. And then it's funny when you see people lining up for places like these days, you're like, yo, that's crazy. You know?
Exactly.
How evolved was your girlfriend at the time that she knew how to do that? Yeah.
She was fucking blown away. She's like, we could just go get a drink, like right there. There's a place, like.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I don't know.
It's funny, man. And I remember back in those days, it was weird because like a lot of skaters would get into fights too. Like at those clubs and
with each other. No, I don't.
I mean, there's so many skaters that fought each other, like stories that like nobody knows about that like
Yeah. I have no idea why these things happen.
You were always pretty chill though, like you never really like got into it with anybody, you know.
No. Yeah.
Cheeks would fucking throw down with a lot of people. Cheeks is gonna fuck me up after he sees this.
Don't fuck me.
Cheeks, I love you.
Yeah.
Cheeks was getting into it.
Yeah, he would fight. Yeah.
I remember there was a crazy story that you were like in your house and you heard some dudes like fucking.
I was telling the story the other night, dude. I know this story. It eats me up, dude.
Don't hate me if I bring it up.
No, go.
So you're in your house, right? And you're fucking hear like a bunch of douchebags downstairs like banging around on some shit, right?
Yeah.
And you look out the window and they're like jumping up and down in your car.
No, dude, I was like in bed and I hear like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, that sounds like where my car is. I normally park in the garage, but it was like on the street, and I went, and I thought something was up, and I took like Atiba let me borrow this like heavy golf training club, like super heavy to work on your golf swing. For some reason I grabbed it right away. I was like, shit went down, I think. I go down with that club, and I see my car, and the whole hood is like the whole ceiling is caved in.
So these dudes are jumping up and down.
Well, they're already halfway up the block. They're walking. There's like 3 dudes and a girl, and they're pretty jockey sounding, you know. And I was like following them up the block with the club in my hand. I was like, fuck it, it eats me up, dude. It eats me up how fucking wrong I played this. But I was like, yo! I was like fucking trying to throw in my hardest voice. I'm like, yo! I was like, and then I could tell they were like kind of scared. And then I finally confronted them. We were like up on Fountain, like busy street, like right up the, and I'm like, yo, you just whatever, stomped my car. Like, what? And then I sat there, I found myself, obviously I'm not gonna hit anyone with a golf club.
That's because you're a rational human being.
Yeah,
you're
was like,
oh, wait, I'm not gonna murder somebody for fucking my hood.
I was like, I'm gonna detain them though. I'm gonna like wait here until the cops come. I don't know what I thought. I thought like they were gonna be like, please, we'll stay, oh God. But no, like I'm sitting there arguing with the one guy, and then this other dude, I guess he went and like pulled one of those like stakes that holds like trees out, and he like came around, and then I was arguing with the one guy, and then I knew, I was like, fuck, I totally fucked up. Why'd I bring this golf club? And then he just goes to grab it from me, and I'm just like, oh dude, I can't let them turn on me. So I'm holding the golf club, and then the one dude's just with like a staff, just like, whoa, bam, just beating the shit out of my back. You know, and I'm just, it's like 2 weeks from my wedding, dude. And all I is like, I'm just protecting my face, like, and I'm like, hold the golf club, protect my face, and they're just like, just beating the shit out of my back. Like, I remember just getting like slashed all the way through my sweatshirt to my skin.
Oh my God.
And dude, I'm just like, just on Fountain, like, and I just come up and like, fuck, like just so furious with myself, like how wrong that went. The stupidest moment in my life.
But I mean, it makes perfect sense, like.
But I think of the game, like how I should have played it, should have been quiet, no golf club, follow those dudes up to wherever they go, and then go grab somebody and be like, yo, these dudes just fucked my car up. Like, check out their shoes. Their footprints are all over the roof of my car. Yeah. You know, because I could have pieced it together. I could have gone forensics on that thing. Yeah, yeah, but instead, it was ridiculous, man.
Well, you looked fine at the wedding. You were good, right?
Yeah. Wheezing.
So, and then they just pieced out?
Yeah, they were just out. Yeah. This lady pulled up and she was like beeping the horn, like, get off of him. Like, she was like probably freaking out. I was like in the street, just beat.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we talked about that like just 2 nights ago, like getting beat up stories. And I was like, I got a story. Yeah. Only time I really got really beat up.
Man, that sucks. I remember hearing that back in the days. I was like, God, that's such a fucking horrible situation.
You're like, this fucking dummy.
I know, like, with the Mr. Neat thing, that shit's been, like, talked about to death, but who was your go-to guy to, like, room with on, like, girl and chocolate trips?
I don't know. Who did I... From the start? Mesa. I found myself safe with Mesa. Yeah.
He's the safest bet, right?
With a filmer, yeah. Sober filmer, yeah.
Sober,
filmer,
vegan.
Yeah. He's just farting, maybe. That's about it, yeah. I think Mesa was my first bet, yeah.
It's funny because you're regarded as Mr. Neat, but essentially the whole girl and chocolate team is like...
The whole team is neat, yeah.
Like Jerron is like crazy OCD.
Yeah.
He's like crazy Mr. Clean guy.
Yeah, he's more, he's way more Mr. Clean than me, dude, Jesus. Yeah.
Tony Ferguson, he's
the
definitely
team,
like,
everything is
pristine, like... Like there's not a wrinkle on the shirt.
No, I remember York traveling to Europe, and it was like, it was like a 30-day trip. He had like 30 pairs of jeans. It was like 1 pair of jeans per day. And like, I remember him had 2 bags. He's rolling these 2 bags, and by the end, it was like 1 deflated bag and like 1 bag of like dirty clothes. You know, because he's like down to 29 pair of denim, you know. And,
I remember going to Puerto Rico with Jerron, and he brought like a leather jacket.
I know this. I know this. Dude,
he brought like a bong, like crazy clean.
A what? A bong?
Excuse me. A bong, like pristine, like
brand
glass
bong.
bong.
Yeah.
And like a leather jacket in like 90-degree weather.
Yeah. Dude, funny dudes, dude.
Very particular.
Yeah. I remember Stevie traveling with like a Sega Genesis and like a Dreamcast or whatever, like two different like consoles. Like, yeah. So much accessories on trips. Yeah.
With like Girl and Chocolate and everything, like there's probably like so many stories, and it was probably like such a good time. It was like, is there one particular time or period that like really sticks out in your mind, or?
Oh no, there's so many good ones.
There's so many, I can imagine.
I can't. I remember, God, there's so many good ones, dude. Like all those Europe, like harsh Euro barge kind of trips. I mean, getting to travel with like, and skate demos with like McCrank and all those dudes were sick. Obviously, Sheffey was incredible. I mean, on like so many levels. Obviously, the stories are one thing, but just getting to skate with that crew, endless stories, endless laughter, adventure. Well,
and then even like having the name Mr. Neat. What was the story? It was like I think like something happened where you like. Where you like had to take a shit in a trash can in the middle of New York City. In broad daylight.
Oh my God, dude. Dude, the finer moments, dude. Holy shit. Dude, that was crazy. Dude.
Please explain this. Like,
dude, it was, I mean, any New Yorker could understand this story. Like, I'm here, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna invent like some catheter thing, like, that you can be like, oh, gotta get this thing out of the bag, like, you know, because people won't let you use the restroom, and it's just like, nope, sorry, let me borrow water, nope, sorry, you know. But no, I was like, in the city, it was late, and I was going to my mother-in-law's house. And this was like not that long ago. But yeah, it was like 7 train, like super long. And then like at a certain point, I was like, whoa, whoa, like, just like this, whoa, type of feeling, you know? And then I get off, and you know, at Flushing at that time
so you made it to the end.
I got it to Flushing, got off the train, and I'm like, whoa, McDonald's, nothing's open, like nothing's open. And I'm walking through like this to the municipal like parking garage. My wife's gonna pick me up. And then I was like, fuck, dude, oh, fuck. I'm not gonna make it. Like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm either gonna shit in my pants or like, and I'm like walking, and I'm telling you, there are people like 20 feet ahead of me. I don't know even who's behind me. Like, I have this feeling, and there's like, you know, the mesh, the TJ wire can trash cans, the mesh trash cans that's like full of trash. I just fucking like, just like quickly, dropped it in there and just like, and just kept going. I don't know how I did that, dude.
Wait, you gotta describe, like, where are you? Like, where's the can? Like,
dude, it's straight up, it's dark, it's nighttime. But I'm telling you, people are just walking ahead of me. They're only like 15 steps ahead of me. And I'm just like, just like holding onto the can. I'm like, oh God. And like trying to get it done quick. You know, I was like, just out, pull it up. And then, oh my God, my poor wife, dude. Because there was no TP. It was not a clean exit, dude. I get in the car, dude. I pull up, and I'm like, oh, hon, there's no hiding. I'm in the car. You know when you're just like this, just like trying to hold it. I'm like, sorry, hon. She's like, what? So devastated. Yeah, so.
Oh my God. That is fucking amazing.
It was so insane. Yeah, Mr. Neat was not so neat. Yeah. Dude, it's so fun.
Yeah, that's why I was like, Mr. Neat had to. Mr. Neat's the only guy that shitted in a mesh New York trash can.
The poor guy that like went to grab that the next day. Oh God.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah.
That story is incredible.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the people. Well, I guess a lot of people are gonna know now. But like Cairo, like, there's like a couple people that know that story really well that always want to talk about it. You know, it makes them really happy. Yeah.
God damn, dude! I've been crying this whole fucking interview. Should we talk about Mesa shitting his pants at the Beverly Center?
I don't think it was eventful, but yeah, he definitely came out. He's like, dude, I just fucking shit myself. We gotta go. I think Tony or Tim was probably trying to buy a puppy at the Bev Center, and we had to go. The Bev Center, that's like legendary.
Beverly Center. What do we have to do? I don't know. Let's go to the Beverly Center.
We got nothing to do. Maybe buy a puppy. Like, people come off the escalator and we're like, should we look at the puppies? Like, yeah.
Buying puppies and like gold chains and shit.
Impulse buys, yeah. Yeah.
What about this, like, didn't you go on a tour one time where you like drove your own car across country, like with your dad and shotgun?
No.
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 No?
No.
That didn't happen?
I definitely, not my father, but I remember taking my car on a trip, but no.
Oh, you can edit this out. Sam,
Take
you gave me wrong information. Fuck you.
Yeah, Sam said that? Sam. No, but we did, who's in the car? I wonder what he's thinking that, because there was a trip that started in D.C. and it was going back to L.A. eventually, and I had a car in New York and I brought it down, and then I took that car the whole way back. But yeah, I'm trying to think, it was like some random dude in the car.
So you weren't like stopping, like doing demos and shit like that?
No, I was like on tour. Like I was like, but I have my own car. And then like I remember Kenny, dude, that was, yeah, and I remember Stabba was on that trip, and I think I had a little Bluetooth, and he was calling me Bluetooth because you see the little blue light beeping. He was like, "Hey, Bluetooth," dude. Yeah, that was
those things are like hot for a minute before everybody realized they were whack.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I remember just having my own car. I had golf clubs in the car. I remember like before a demo going golfing with like Costin and like someone else. It was pretty rad.
That's dope.
Yeah.
At some point in time, you kind of just felt like you were ready to like kind of give up your skating career. Like you just felt like you didn't want to do it anymore, and you like made a conscious decision to like kind of throw in the towel and like respectfully. Mm-hmm. What was your like mind state at that point in time? Like what were you feeling like?
Well, I had this. Just knowing like it, for me, I was like, it's not gonna be forever, and knowing life is short, you gotta kind of move on. But I think going out and skating, you know, and having all that free time and going to lunch and all these things that we were doing in the past, but doing it for so long, just knowing like, man, I had like a good run and I don't see this happening forever. And then when you go skating and you're gonna try this trick and you're at this spot and you're like, you want to do it and you find yourself afraid and you're like, oh, I'm just going to come back. And you find yourself doing that like a lot.
Kind of making up excuses.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm just going to come back. Like, my shirt's not right. No, no, but like, I'm going to come back. I'm going to definitely come back next week. And you find yourself putting everything off and instead of like being productive. And I felt like, I was like, holy shit, you know, I need to make moves. And then it was also the other side of it is like, you know, like I looked at the situation like Rick and Mike and Megan, like they built this thing and it was like a family and it was all their friends. And they're all doing this thing together and all the riders are on the team together. And I felt like some dudes probably needed to be like, maybe before me, I was like, you know, it was hard. They weren't going to take anyone's boards away, you know, and if they did, it was like super, super hard and personable because they're in the same boat, and it's like this very special, honorable space. And for me, I was like, I want to be like super respectful to them and bow out quicker than having them to try to take my board away, and also be like a role model for like anyone that was in the same position that you know, like you're afraid to move on, and just kind of just do it. And
how long were you like thinking about that? Was it something that weighed on you for a long period of time, or was it something like that you thought about for a month or two?
No, it was like I spent like a year or so like winding myself, I don't know, up to do it and down to like make change, you know, if that makes sense.
You go from like being the skater for the company and now you're working at the same company. Was it hard to like see, for example, you're in the office and like Carol and those dudes are like going on tour. Was it hard to be like, okay, later dudes, while you like stay in the office?
Yeah.
Or was it could go either way. It could be like difficult, or it could be like, God damn, glad I don't have to go fucking film tricks with those dudes. Like, how are you feeling like in those days? That transition, was it difficult?
You know what? I think I was so, like at that point my head was like so in like footwear and this new thing I was learning that my head was down, and I was like so focused on that for a while, like at least, I think it was like maybe 8 months to a year before I finally looked up and was like, oh fuck, man, that was pretty nice. Like I wouldn't mind being at Lulu's right now with the guys, but at that point I had already built like a new habit, you know, of like getting up, and it felt really good to have success every day in a sense, you know, like you know how it is when you go out filming or skating.
You can come home defeated, like you didn't get that trick, or like,
especially back then, because there's no like Instagram to like quickly big yourself up, you know, like if that was the case, it might have been different, but you know, like you're out and you try to film, you do like one trick, and it's just like, what's that one trick gonna do? Like, you know, wait 2 years for it to have any impact, and it doesn't, and you know, like now it's a different thing, but back then, just so many days where you're just like, dude, I did nothing.
Yeah, I did nothing.
And it really eats you up. So that was the thing that really kind of helped, you know, when I got into footwear and behind the scenes.
Was there anybody that like really took you and like under their wing and like showed you the ropes and like shoe design, or is it something that you kind of just like learned on your own?
No, I had a shoe, and then I remember working with like Sung, and he would like give me some pointers, and then James Arzumi, and was connecting with him, and then eventually Hoover was like the main guy there, and he saw it in me and like really truly mentored me and got me like the opportunity to get there, and just like, I mean, just was like, now when I look back, like what a great boss and like a mentor, and like really gave me that, not like sink or swim, you know, but like really gave me the space to like really like do it all. He didn't like baby me.
Did you get like some rejection for like any of the designs, or like harsh feedback, or like criticism?
No, no.
I think you have pretty good taste, so I feel like everything that you come up with is gonna look fresh. Like,
I don't know, but yeah, I think people give me that definitely that respect, so it helps. Yeah.
When you stopped skating professionally, you did it out of respect for like Mike and Rick and just for the whole team. Like, it was, you don't want to take up this space, and it was a respect thing. Do you feel like they gave you the same respect when you decided to move on with your career to like move forward to Adidas?
Yeah. Hold on, let's think about it. So, now is it on the flip side? Now that I'm moving on, did I get that? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Like I was like, you guys have this saying, and I have to respect it, and then they did, you know, for sure. I mean, again, I'm going to work on like skate product for like a big corporation that's kind of also complicating their business. So there's a sense of like, well, but shit, you're going to work on the competition. If I was going to like a running category, they probably would have been like, all right, well, you know, oh, that's cool, you know. But they were still cool, you know, but it was, you know,
there's no way it can't like
you can't not be be
Yeah.
a bit of an issue, but at the same time it all makes sense, you know. Like I needed to evolve And then it was like, I was in, like, back then, I'm not saying I was in the way of like young skaters coming up, but there was still like the dude below me, like a younger designer that like, I'm in the way of his growth, and there's only the 2 designers, and it's either like, if I don't leave, he's probably gonna leave. So let's create room for growth for everyone. But yeah, again, it was like one of those things, like, I think I've said this before, but the fear, you know, like I had this like great fear to do that, to go and make this leap, to go out way outside of my like whole network and comfort zone of friends and family, and like go out into like the world like of unknown, of like corporate world of like something I just don't know. And I was like, shit, now I have to do it, you know, because I'm so afraid, you know.
You were challenging yourself, like you.
Yeah, I definitely felt like really questioning myself, and I was like, all right, well, I need to go at it.
How long have you been at Adidas now?
4 years almost. Yeah, pretty wild.
How's living in Portland? Is it cool?
It's cool. Yeah, yeah, it's cool.
You guys got a little crew up there.
Dude, there's a lot
whole
of like,
squad.
There's a lot of dudes from LA there now, which is cool. And then just over the years, meeting like Hunter and like all these dudes, like just from like the years of skating and contests and stuff. Yeah. So there's like such a solid crew of people up there.
Who do you hang with? Like.
I mean, honestly, like I think I like my family and work is like priority, so I don't hang a lot, but you know, still get to see Bird, you know, which I've known since like '93, like is probably the longest I've known you. Yeah. Still get to see him, not a lot, but when I see him, it's like it's not the quantity, but it's the quality, you know. Yeah. But like Herschel and EA and like Searcy's there now, and every once in a while we see Hunter, and that's cool, and Carboy, and I mean, there's a lot of solid dudes.
I partied with Carboy.
I love Carboy.
I think I blacked out with Carboy last time I was in Portland.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Yeah. And then even the dudes at Adi, like some of these guys I've completed, you know, just new friends, you know.
With the new Tyshawn shoe, did you design that?
Yeah. Yep.
Sick. I'm rocking them.
I see that. I'm stoked. I like it when I see people wearing it. Wearing it right.
Pretty fresh. Did you guys work together like closely on that, or was it kind of like, how was that working with Tyshawn in that sense?
Yeah. No, the process was, I mean, we kind of had a vision even before we even approached him, and then when we met him, we were like, hey, this is not even like what the shoe looks like, but like the spirit. Like, hey, this is, you know, like New York, basketball inspired. You know, like the silhouettes that he was already kind of wearing. He was wearing like pro models and stuff. So it made a lot of sense. We were kind of rationalizing it internally first. And then when it came time to like, yeah, you're going to do it, I went to Brooklyn and designed it at the space in the farm, the New York, the spot. Yeah. And we did, it was like a full week there. And then I actually had, it wasn't just me, I had another designer from Germany come out, and there was like designers from the farm that were working on basketball product, like performance stuff. And it was like essentially like a workshop process where we were all sketching at this thing and just collaborating, and Tyshawn will come in like once a day and like see the progress and like have feedback, and just whatever, you know, it just was like, it grew together. And then, but yeah, really quickly after like 5 days, I think we were pretty far along. Damn. Yeah.
He strikes me as a person that would really, you know, he's very focused on what he wants and kind of very, you know, knows what he likes, knows what he doesn't like. And it seems like it would be easy to work with him in that sense of like trying to figure out, you know, basically what he wants. Like it seems like it would be an easy guy to work with.
Yeah. We actually, there was a shoe prior to that, the 3ST04. It was like a boost shoe, and I came out here and I kind of had the idea like he would probably be the next guy to get a shoe. So I was pulling him in to the process and like kind of almost like not mentoring him, but kind of bringing him into like, all right, if you want to make something new, this is what the process is like, and like sharing that back and forth. So when it was time for him to, then he was pretty open during that. So I was like, oh man, he's gonna be like a great person to build product with. And when it came time to really make his shoe, he was like really open and like already almost had like practice, you know, by that first shoe. Yeah.
That's cool. Maybe this is like a weird question, but it's like working with Sean, is there any kind of, I mean, two totally different people, but you know, Sean is like now the king of New York, and then like having had relationships with Keenan, who was kind of like the king of New York, both from uptown. It's like, do you see, is there anything that, I don't know, this is kind of a strange question, but like working with Sean, do you feel like that kind of honors that kind of legacy of like coming from the same place, or like, you know, that same, have you ever felt like that or thought about it in that kind of way at all, or?
I mean, sadly, no. I haven't thought of that, and when hearing you say that, it kind of is pretty touching because, just bringing Keenan up anytime is definitely like a heartfelt moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, that's fuck, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think Keenan would be fucking super psyched on Sean.
Yeah, yeah. God, it's so crazy. He would be like hugging this guy, like picking him up, and like just
He'd be like,
cradling
oh,
him.
look at this guy.
Yeah, he'd be like cradling him, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
He'd be so proud.
Seriously.
Yeah, Tyshawn is quite an amazing kid.
Yeah.
A young man.
What else are you into nowadays? Like, you riding bikes a lot? I feel like I see on your Instagram you've been like riding road bikes.
Yeah, I've moving up to Portland. Like when I lived in SF, I started riding a little bit, like mountain bikes going into like Mount Tam. And then when I moved to LA, I stopped entirely. And then when I got to Portland, knowing it's like a big bike city, and I was like, the ability to like go from LA where you're commuting on cars for hours, I was like, I could ride to work on a bike. So I got a bike with just the idea that I'm just gonna like commute on it and just get around. But then in the process, like that's where I like Portland, because it's a great city for bikes, and the adventure of like you can go into like the forest. I got a cross bike, and then somehow I found myself like meeting all these, like this whole cycling community, like the Rafa or like athletics guys. Like these are like some really cool like cyclist dudes that are like gnarly. And then they take me on rides, and then I find myself, they're like, dude, we're gonna enter the cyclocross races this season. You should do it. And I find myself like racing in like cyclocross races. I've done it like 3 years in a row now. I'm like,
That's amazing.
And it's just super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the whole kit, like the aerodynamic.
I get some, yeah. Not all the time. I try to. My wife's always like, dude, don't do that. You're gonna lose your cred. Don't do it.
No, I think it's amazing, man.
Yeah, but no, it's fun.
It's funny because as skaters, like we're getting older and we can't skate as much as we used to, but we're active people, and like I run 3 times a week, and like I just need to be active to like feel good, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that we all find, as we get older, we all find ways to do that, different kinds of ways, and you know, I like riding, but I don't ride around in New York as much as I used to because I feel sketchy, but you know, just staying active is, it's in our DNA, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. And yeah, you gotta have fun. Just sitting on a treadmill is pretty boring. So you gotta go out and like run or like have an adventure while you're exercising.
Yeah. What else you got coming up? You working on any projects or anything new with Adidas? Or?
Judah, yeah, I got something dope coming next.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just can't talk about it.
You can't talk about it?
I just can't talk about it.
Damn.
But yeah. I think February.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I feel like catching our stride. So yeah,
right.
February we got another banger coming.
Right,
We got a couple other ones, but for me personally, it's something that I worked on. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Now I'm like really intrigued.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna have to wait till February.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been like really exercising, keeping this one top secret.
I remember one time we went out and I think we went to one of those clubs that I was talking about earlier, and like you were driving, and it was like at the time it was like me, you, and Keenan, and we were like driving back, and you dropped me and Keenan off at Keenan's house, and I don't know what I was doing. I was just like super wasted, and the story is not even that amazing, but for me it's like the three of us. I was like super wasted. We were all kind of drunk, and then. I was
Not
like,
me. If I was driving.
No, I was.
Yeah,
you were maybe had a couple beers. But
yeah.
I was like, yo, Scott, you made it, man. Like, you're fucking killing it, dude. Like, you were driving the Beamer, and like we were all like,
Beamer or the?
Yeah, I think it was the Beamer, and we were like listening to like Noriega or something. Yeah. I was like, yo, Scott, like you're fucking killing it, bro. I love you, man. You're fucking killing it. And then Keenan was like, yo, shut the fuck up, yo, like, yo. And then like both you guys were just like laughing at me, and it was just such a silly moment, but
yeah,
I'll always remember that. I don't know why it was just like us three, you know.
Yeah, that's special, dude. Yeah,
yeah, it was a good time. We had a lot of fun back in the days.
We had great times. Fuck, anytime Keenan was in the room was incredible.
I know, right?
Yeah,
fucking guy.
Fucking guy.
Yo, this is Mission Statement, episode 13. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on Instagram or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Peace.